This has almost become an annual tradition for me. It feels like I make one of these videos every year, but the PlayStation Vita is the console that just refuses to die. But in the year 2024, things have changed quite a bit. We have a ton of new high-powered handhelds on the market, and that number is increasing by the day, and we actually have a somewhat decently working PlayStation Vita emulator that's receiving regular updates and getting better and better. So the question now is, in the year 2024, is the Vita still worth getting? So let's revisit the most underutilized handheld and take a look at the PlayStation Vita in 2024. But first, a quick word from one of our affiliates, UGREEN. UGREEN is a producer of high-quality computer accessories that are compatible with Windows and Mac. They make a variety of these expansion hubs that are some of my favorite products of theirs. They do a lot more than just give you a couple of extra USB ports and some SD card slots. They allow for PD fast charge, have HDMI outputs in both 4 and 8K, and some will even allow for high-speed wired internet connectivity. They're a perfect companion for any Mac user who's looking to fully utilize the potential of their Thunderbolt ports, or for any PC user who's just looking to get the most functionality out of their workstation. And the best part about them is they're completely compatible with the Steam Deck ROG Ally or any of the other major handheld gaming PCs, making them perfect travel docks for your Steam Deck. If you guys are interested in any of UGREEN's awesome product line, I'll have links ready in the description below. And now, back to our video. Now, one of the biggest points of contention when talking about the PlayStation Vita is its library of games. And I'll be the first to admit, a lot of the games are pretty hit or miss. And it doesn't have as expansive of a library as a console like the PSP or the 3DS. But you still can't deny that there are some absolute bangers that came out for the Vita, a lot of which hold up really well by today's standards. Here we are a decade later, and I still keep going back and playing some of these games. Not to mention, the console is home to some ports that have really been refined, overhauled, and optimized, essentially making these the definitive versions of these games. The Vita was so far ahead of its time from a technology standpoint, we're just now starting to see other consoles catch up. The Vita was rocking an OLED display in 2012. Just now we're starting to hear buzzwords like Hall effect joysticks, integrated touchpads. These are all things the Vita had way back then. Some games in the library really utilized these features. So despite having a fairly decently working emulator, the real way to enjoy a lot of these games is on the original hardware. The unique experience that the Vita provides isn't something that can easily be replicated simply by emulating the software. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of what really makes the Vita so special in today's day and age. As I'm sure most of you guys are aware, modding this thing makes it a completely different console, better in every way possible. Modding allows you to play practically the entire PS1, PSP, and Vita libraries, making it almost an ultimate Sony handheld console. Not to mention its ability to emulate other retro consoles as well. Sure, there are some retro emulation handhelds out there that are more powerful, but in terms of build quality, these can be hit or miss. The Vita, on the other hand, has a premium feel, and things seem to flow really well with the way the Vita's operating system is set up. On top of all that, the modding community is super strong, even now in 2024. There are still new homebrews, hacks, and these really awesome ports that keep being developed for the Vita. In my opinion, this is probably the strongest case to go run out and buy a PS Vita in 2024. Its homebrew is actually fun. Now, I know this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion for some of you, but the PlayStation Vita is the first console that I've really enjoyed the homebrew. Other handhelds and other consoles in the past, maybe a handful of homebrew games I've enjoyed, but with the Vita, I have an entire folder full of really good homebrew games. And more keep being developed on a regular basis. And these ports, my goodness, these ports. Hats off to every team that keeps pumping these out, whether it's the Android ports, the PC ports, or even some stuff they get running natively. It's extremely impressive, the amount of fresh content that is still coming out for the Vita. So now back to our original question. Is the PlayStation Vita worth getting in 2024? The answer is yes. Hell yes. And it will be for many years to come. I think we're living in a really unique time that I don't think we're ever going to see something age as well as the Vita has. There's almost more of a reason to get one now than there was 10 years ago. It sounds ridiculous to say, but that's the honest to goodness truth. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that you should run out and get a PlayStation Vita over something like the Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch, but what I am saying is that if you have any hesitation as to whether or not you should add a Vita to your console collection, you should definitely get one. You will not be disappointed. And there you have it. I don't know how long this console is going to continue to stay relevant, but you get no complaints by me. I love this thing. I'm going to continue to love this thing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.